Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to discuss dimensioning. Dimensioning is the process of putting all the notes and measurements on your drawings so that we can build them. Here you can see that we're starting off with a multi-view drawing. So before you want to start applying notes to your drawing, you got to have a completed drawing. The finished multi-view drawing, in this case a 4-view drawing, is placed on the screen. And we're going to go ahead and follow the flow chart to make sure that we understand what we're doing. Looking right up here at the very first step, it reads mass to dimension precision to the measurement precision. So when you measure when you measure something in the real world, you're going to have a measuring tool like a dial caliper or a tape measure. A dial caliper has a measuring precision of 1/1000th of an inch. That's 3 decimal places. So it's important that we match the numbers on our drawing to the measurements that we took it with. So if I measure something to be 0.125 inches, then whenever I draw it on the drawing, I write down 0.125 inches, not 0.12500 or 0.1. Those two are at different levels of precision, so we'll make sure that we keep them the same. The second step is to look at our model and figure out what our precision, or I'm sorry, not precision, but what our features are. So here we have this object that is a rectangular block that has a notch cut out of the top and then a hole punched through it. So let's see, we have a large block, a hole, and a notch. So that's 3 features. And the diagram here we're calling feature 1 a notch, feature 2 a hole, and feature 3 a large block. For the purpose of dimensioning, it is good to go ahead and start with the small features first, because they're going to have the smallest dimensions, and then the large feature, like the whole block that everything's carved from, would be done last, since it's going to have the biggest dimensions. And that'll make sense in a few seconds. So we're going to definitely, of course, look at our views and look at the features, and we're going to pick the view that best represents the feature. So for example, the notch here is most visible in the front view, and it's barely understandable in the top and right views. So we're going to make sure that we apply most of our dimension pay attention to that front view. And so we're going to go ahead and apply that dimension, or at least the majority of our dimensions, in that front view. So you can see that we've identified the size of it and its location. So the size is shown here, and the size is always going to have 3 measurements: width, depth, and height. So the front view is going to show the width and the height. And of course, in order to show the depth, we need to go over to the side view where we can see the depth. The location, well, it's at the corner, so there's no measurement needed for the location in this particular situation. Now, have we fully dimensioned every feature? No, we still have not defined that hole, nor we defined the overall size. So we're going to go back to where we were a few seconds ago, and we're going to pick the dimension location that best describes our object. So our hole is best viewed in the right side, where you can see the full roundness of the hole. We're going to start dimensioning each feature with its size and location again. So you can see this is a circle. So we're adding what's called a center mark. So we have a center mark here to represent the center of the hole, and the center line to show the center of the hole looking at it from the side. So when you have a cylinder, we have this crosshair looking plus sign center mark to show where the absolute center of the circle is, and then a dashed long, short, long dash line to represent the center of the hole when showing from the side. So we're going to make sure we fully dimension that. We need to have its size, so we can see that it's got a diameter of 1/4 inch, shown here with a leader line. It's got a depth of 3 inches going all the way through on this front view with a conventional dimension. You can see it also has a location showing its height from the bottom to the center and then from the left side to the center. We don't need a width or depth dimension because it's a circle, so it's just the diameter represents both the width and the depth. So now we have this fully dimensioned, and we're going on to the next feature. Have we dimensioned everything? No, we still haven't given the overall block a dimension. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that large block. And we need to add the overall height, which hadn't been dimensioned yet. The overall width had already been dimensioned when we dimensioned the depth of the hole, and the overall depth of the block was dimensioned when we dimensioned the notch. So we just need to add this one more thing. There's no location dimension since we're dimensioning the overall size of the object. So there we go. Now, has every feature been dimensioned? Yeah, sure has. So we have all the overall dimensions, but we notice here that the top view has no dimensions. So you know what? We don't need it. We can just erase that or delete it if we're using our CAD software. So go ahead and get rid of that top view, and there's our finished product. This is a final, true, fully dimensioned object. So this is what your object needs to look like. This is how we know that we have fully dimensioned something. This is our flow chart. And if you follow these steps, you'll create awesomely dimensioned work, and you'll be amazing. So keep it up, and as always, keep being awesome.